depending on which part of the world you're seeing my video from. This is Enuani Cultural Forum, and I'm welcoming you to today's broadcast. Today we are looking at the topic, not everyone in Anioma has identity crisis. What is identity crisis? Identity crisis is a problem of not knowing about one's identity, especially the cultural identity. Most people who have identity crisis are very well educated, but they lack the self-awareness, the ability to know that this is cultural identity and this is political identity. For some, they mistake their political identity for their cultural identity. But there's a big difference between cultural identity and political identity. Most people have failed to distinguish between political identity and cultural identity. What I just typed in the topic today as a title is, not everyone in Anioma has identity crisis. The word Anioma is an acronym and it's in itself a political identity. An identity used to describe the people of Aniocha, Ndokwa, Ika, Oshimili. And then the MA is just to make it complete as an Igbo word. It is a political identity. The real cultural identity inherent is Igbo. Every of these groups that I described are Igbo speaking people. They are among the tribes in Igbo land. Just like you have Unkwere, you have Onsoka, you have Afi Igbo, you have Okiigwe, you have Owere. That same way we have Eka, Ndokwa, which is also referred as Okwani. They believe that Okwani is their identity, not even Ndokwa. And then we have the Enuani, people comprising of Aniocha and Oshimili people. The Oshimili people are the riverine areas. That is why the name Oshimili. The Enuani are the people who live upland. That is Enuani, upland, the upland dwellers. Okwani are the lowland dwellers. These are Igbo descriptions in terms of geography. So, identity crisis can occur in a very educated person. You can see a person who has doctorate degree, master's degree, even up to the level of PhD, but yet they have identity crisis. Being aware of your cultural identity most times is not because of education. Good morning, my brother. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome. James, welcome. Biafra. Thank you so much. Welcome. Thank you for the roses. So, why I'm actually doing this is that I tried to run a live stream last night and I experienced some technical difficulties and power outage. So I decided to do so this morning. We're supposed to do at least one live stream in a while so that the channel doesn't go down in terms of our viewership. So please double tap on this video to help it come up on the algorithm. We continue. Identity crisis is a lack of self-awareness in the area of cultural identity. Not being able to distinguish that Igbo is your cultural identity while Delta is your political identity. Not being able to know that Igbo is your cultural identity, Ikwere is your tribe, and Rivers State is your political identity. Most people don't know this. They say, I am from Rivers State. Where are you from? What tribe are you from? They say, I am from Rivers State, which is wrong. Rivers State is not a tribe. Edo State is not a tribe. Imo State is not a tribe. Okay? These are political identities. Nigeria is not a tribe as well. It's a political identity. Your real cultural identity is Igbo. While in Igbo land, there are many tribes. So no one is trying to say, forget about being Ika and become Igbo. You can still be Ika while being Igbo. You can still be Enuani while being Igbo. You can still be your Ikwere while being Igbo, because Ikwere is one of the tribes in Igbo land. These tribes are under the larger ethnic group of Igbo. What I'm teaching here is very important because even professors that I have seen, senior advocates of Nigeria that I have seen, some exhibit traces of identity crisis. This is what leads me to the next topic. I'm going to share a video with us later today, especially when most of the viewers of this channel have finally come online. I know a lot of people are busy. It's a busy day, even the time of the day that it is. Most people are not online. So the few who are online watching this video, kindly double tap it and share to your audience. We may have about 30 minutes or 1 hour to spend, but we're going to use it very judiciously. Ịnụne mmadụ awọcha n'onwe awọcha n'ebe o si bịa onwenye ndị akpachana nke izizi nke mbụ bụ na ezinụlọ onye o si bịa ndị mmụọ na-akọwanina. Some parents have identity crisis, so you will expect that identity crisis to double in the children, because a father who has identity crisis will definitely raise children who have double identity crisis. If my father never projected in me that we are Igbos and that he is Igbo, most of his works outside our terrain, he worked in Yoruba land, worked in Hausa land, he was fully regarded as an Igbo person, and his name, Ogochukwu, an Igbo name. His father's name, Moasha, an Igbo name. Grandfather's name. So, I knew my genealogy that we are from a lineage of Igbo-speaking people, and we are Igbos. If my father never taught me that, assuming he taught me something different, I will grow up with identity crisis unless I have the wisdom again to go and do ancestry DNA test, which can invalidate what my father has wrongly taught. But I was lucky enough to have a father who has the self-awareness about his own cultural identity. Ịjụọ nna m ajụjụ, ịjụọ na di m ajụjụ n'asụsụ anyị, n'oyibo, ọza anyị n'asụsụ Igbo. So you have no other option than to learn that language, especially with proverbs. So I want to ask you, do you know that this year alone, this is 2025, the people of Anioma have done 3 different protests, very, very strong protests. When I say people of Anioma, you may say, these are Anioma people. It is not the whole of Anioma. It is just Asaba. So I can rightly say that the people of Asaba have done 3 good protests. They did the first protest in February 2025. The protest was taken to government house. And this time it was not just Asaba. It was the people of Anyocho Shimili Federal Constituency that did this protest. They were calling on the presidency to make sure that they are included in the Southeast. Follow me. You will be shocked by all these revelations I'm making. And I'm going to back them up with video. When I'm through with this video, I will unveil the video. The people of Anyocho Shimili Federal Constituency, constituting of Anyocha South, Anyocha North, Oshumili South, and Oshumili North, carried out a protest to Delta State Government House, calling on the governor to intervene and ensure that they are included as part of the Southeast Development Commission. Now they have heard that there's a Southeast Development Commission created by the presidency to tackle the unique challenges faced by Ndi Igbo who are in the Southeast. Just like you have NDDC. So, they were led in this protest by none other than the member representing Anyocho Shumili Federal Constituency, Honorable Ngozi Lawrence Okolie. Okolie led this protest, insisting, Okolie is an Asaba man, by the way, insisting that Asaba and all other neighboring areas in Anyocho Shimili be included among the Southeast Development Commission communities under the Southeast Development Commission. Do you know what that means? It means now Anioma, They were protesting for Anioma people to become part of Southeast. That was in February 2025. And then later on, I think in May, a conference was held in Grand Hotel Asaba. It was held at Grand Hotel Asaba. Senator Ned Nwoko was canvassing for support for his quest to demand for the creation of Anioma state. And a prominent chief of Asaba attended. Chief Eluaka and Chief Edozien. Now, Chief Edozien particularly spoke. In his speech, he maintained that this quest for the creation of Anioma state is a long-standing vision of his brother, the then Asaba of Asaba, Obi Professor Chike Edozie, who, in his words, is no longer here. He has already passed. But he was saying that if he was alive, this is the kind of event that he worked for all his life, to see Ndi Igbo united and to also see that we have our own state. The words of Edozien. After that conference, we still continued until we started hearing little tiny voices that say we are no longer Igbos and we are not part of the Southeast. We are Igala people. We are Bini people. We are Yoruba people. In fact, there are different groups of people in Anioma. Therefore, don't classify all of us as Igbo. Don't paint us with one brush. That was the point where everything broke. That was the breaking point. That was the point where our Igbo brothers in the South started feeling betrayed. At what point did you change your opinion that you are no longer Igbo, or that you no longer want to be one and the same with the people of Southeast? What is it about the Southeast that you don't want to be part of? What do you have that we do not have? Or what do we have that you want to avoid? What is that thing? Ngozi Okolie, in his speech in that February protest, highlighted that everything that they face in the South is we face in Asaba and other parts of Anyocho Shomili. And that interestingly, most Igbo people who are from the Southeast reside in Asaba and other neighboring communities. Most people from here to work in the Southeast, so we are one. That was the line used by Ngozi Okolie when pleading that Asaba be included as part of the Southeast Development Commission. So here we are. And words started coming out that, especially from the political class, there are two prominent politicians in Delta North. Two of them have gone for the senatorial position. One has also gone as governor. Both of them bear Igbo names. They are Igbo people. One is from Oshimili. The other one is from Eka. The one from Oshimili has spent 8 years in the Senate. The one from Eka spent 4 years in the Senate. And then 8 years as governor. These two men have never mentioned the word Anioma except when they want to use it for campaign. Nobody has ever clamored for Anioma people to say, give us our own state. We want to be separate, or want to be part or not part of the Southeast. None of them ever mentioned that word. Until this other person, Senator Ned Nwoko, entered. In just 2 years of him being in power. Of course, these people came in 2023. And this is just 2025. 2 years later, the whole country now knows there's a state, there's a place called Anioma. And they are trying to create a state for it. Now they want a part in that stake. And they are saying, no, don't join us to the Southeast. Why? Because once we are joined to the Southeast as a region, these people immediately lose political relevance. If they were seeing themselves as Lord before, or maybe as former governor before, now we have many former governors in the region. But they don't want that. Thank you so much. They don't want that. They have never clamored anything for Anioma. Please double tap on this video to like it, okay? So that it can come up on the algorithm. Do you never clamored anything for the benefit of Anioma people? You have never asked for anything in our favor. Now, you want the state to be created, but not joined to the Southeast. And they think it is local Delta politics. But this is federal. This thing is coming from Abuja, where people who also know politics reside. They have already decided that this slot, one state will be created. Thank you everyone who has just double tapped on this video to like it. Is coming up already. So the slot belongs to the Southeast. They are trying to give it to you. You can't have it and tell them how to use it as well. No. The slot belongs to Ndi Igbo. So if you want to have that state as Anioma state, you will automatically become a part of the Southeast. It's as simple as that. And then these politicians started kicking, mobilizing all the people they sponsored as stooges into the House of Assembly and the puppets they have as council chairmen to say, no, we will not accept. Sponsored them and pushed them to sign signatures, insisting they don't want to be joined. Some of them say annexed to the Southeast. I don't understand what they mean annexed. Nobody is trying to move Asaba away to Owerri. Nobody is coming from Anambra here as neighbors, not even on nature, to come and rule Anioma. But they are insisting they are not interested in being part of Ndi Igbo. And Ndi Igbo said, okay, since you are not Igbo, or since you have suddenly realized that you are not Igbo, you want to play Chameleon with us. Okay, if you are going to join us, we are putting the capital in Olo. Now we don't want Anioma, so that you don't start claiming ownership of it. We want Anioma, my good land, instead of good land. And these people started kicking further. Kuku don't create it. They would rather not have Anioma state, remain in Delta state, than have Anioma state that is joined to the Southeast. Remember, in the last general election, Governor Ifeanyi Atokowa, who ran as a vice presidential candidate to Atiku on the platform of PDP, declared several times that he is Igbo. During his campaigns, he was asked, precisely the one I remember is the one where Shehu Okimbaloye asked him, this slot for vice presidency is for the people of Southeast. He said, no, it's for Ndi Igbo, and I am an Igbo man. I may be in the South, but I am an Igbo man and I cannot be counted out. In another interview, he said his name is Ifeanyi Chukwu. How did Ifeanyi Chukwu now drop from being Igbo to being somebody from South? How did Ifeanyi Chukwu start now suddenly to stop speaking on national TV, to become loudly silent? The silence is deafening. It's too loud. That silence is too loud, and we are not fools. We read meanings to it. Especially when all his political allies are the ones signing signatures to say we don't want to be part of the Southeast. But something very interesting happened 3 days ago. I had created a video to make, but due to technical faults, I lost the video. I'm still very pained because everything I said that I could have posted, I lost them. But let me give you a bit. So 3 days ago in Lagos, PAS World Center was inaugurated. PAS means they just built a skyscraper in Lagos and they just inaugurated it. And so PAS means Ponoka Attorneys and Solicitors. Now Ponoka Attorneys and Solicitors, their biggest partner, like the owner, is Chief Dr. Anthony Ikemefune Idigbe. Now, Chief Idigbe is the Akuluono of Asaba. During the conference, during the inauguration, he made a very salient speech that ended with every Asaba man is considerably an Igbo man. And he made this statement in the presence of the king of his community. Obi Professor Epiphany Chibogo Azinge. And I was very pleased. I like truthful men. But most importantly, I like men who are truthful where and when they should be. Not people who are truthful, but depending on who is around, they choose to say otherwise or to remain silent. This man expressed his truth in the presence of his king, who he knows is not preaching Igbo identity. Everyone was stunned. He said every Asaba man is considerably an Igbo man. You can type the name into your phone and search who Anthony Idigbe is. Idigbe is I-D-I-G-B-E. Anthony Idigbe is a senior advocate of Nigeria, a prominent son of Asaba. In fact, he is Chief Akuluono of Asaba. And he is the biggest partner of Ponoka attorneys and solicitors, PAS. PAS is one of the biggest law firms in Nigeria. So, as an Asaba man, he just joined a list of about 4 Asaba people that I know, prominent Asaba people who are insisting that they are Igbo. Someone has asked me the difference between Kainebisi and Nebisi. And I asked that person, what is the difference between Chukwuemeka and Emeka? They are the same thing. Kainebisi was shortened to Nebisi. Chukwuemeka is usually shortened to Emeka. Our Enuani people will say Emeke instead of Emeka. But Chukwuemeka, it all means the same thing. Kainebisi na Nebisi means the same thing. Nobody has ever tried to say Nebisi is a woman. Nebisi means let's look upon the head, or let's look on to the future to see what this child could become. Because the full name is Kainebisi Malife Nwagabo, an Igbo statement. So people are thinking that Kainebisi now means the name is an Igala name. No, it is not an Igala name. It is not an Igala name. And before the name Nebisi, we have had the names like Ezanyaun and the descendants of Ezechima, who are resident in the present place called Asaba. Somebody may also want to interrogate, how did Asaba move from Asabi Ibokwe, like a nickname? We usually have a unique nickname, because what I told people about history is that for you to study history and know the history of a people very well, ask the indigenes of that community, then move on, ask their neighbors. Did you hear that? When you want to study the history of a community, ask their indigenes, ask their neighbors. When you want to study about a lineage, ask the people of that lineage, ask their neighbors. You will get the correct version. Now I'm coming to why I said you should ask the neighbors of Asaba. I am from a community that is neighboring to Asaba. And our community is at least, I am from Ubuluku, and Ubuluku is at least 700 years older than Asaba. You heard that right? 700 years older than Asaba. So what is it about Asaba that Ubuluku can tell you? We call them 2 names. You either say Ndi Asabu Ujom or Ndi Asabi Ibokwe. Asabi Ibokwe. Asabi Ibokwe. Asaba that belongs to Ibokwe. Ndi Ibokwe. Those are the ones that are in Okwe today. We are called Ndi Obolo Ezemu. Ndi Obolo Ezemu. That is Obolo that belongs to Ezemu. We call the Iseluku people Umu Olibo. That is the people who are descendants of Olibo, or in general, if it is not only Iseluku, we call all the children of Ezechima Ndi Umu Ezechime. Similarly, Ogwashuku people are called Umu Adaibo, because Adaibo is their father. That same way, Asaba people are called Asaba. We just call it Asaba. The real Ubuluku people will call it Ashaba. Ashabam, I have chosen well. I have chosen well, Ashabam. We have a community that bears similar name, Ashama, Ashamam. Sha means to choose. Some people who are our neighbors like Ogwashuku can call Asaba Ahaba. Even Ahaba people, the real Asaba people call it Ahabam. I have chosen well, not Asaba. It is we, because of our tone, that call it Ashaba. So it is fully by nomenclature. That is the name. You know, when a community is about to be founded, one interesting thing to know is the name of that community. If they are Igbo people, their name will be Igbo. So the name of the community in itself by foundation is Igbo. So I applaud Professor Anthony Idigbe, SAN, for his courage to speak up that every Asaba man, he did not say some parts of Asaba, so that everybody will know they are included. And their king was even seated there. I was very pleased that every Asaba man is considerably an Igbo man. Then he delved into the creation of Anioma state by saying, no part of Igbo land should claim superiority over the other. No part of Igbo land should claim superiority or ownership over the other. This simply shows that he considers this part Igbo land. He's only afraid. He's only afraid that we should not, or he's only cautioning us not to subjugate ourselves into becoming subservient to other parts of Igbo, especially with the rumor that the capital of Anioma state is going to be situated at Olo, which is not, which has been debunked anyway, because Olo was just proposed as the capital of Anioma state. Anioma is Anambra and Imo joined together. Anioma, Anambra, Imo. That is just the word joined there, Animoma. So, for us, the people of Anioma in Delta State, who are Igbos, we understand our identity very clearly. Only few, because of their political interests. Look at these two videos that I said I played today, that I've created a video for. I'm going to show you. In the first video, this same man, look at his face very well when I play the video. Chief Edozien stated clearly that his brother, the king, the late Asaba, continued to fight for the creation of Anioma state until he passed. That if he was alive today, he would have been a very happy man, because this is his life dream. And that people saying we are not part of the Southeast are joking, because we are part and parcel of the Southeast. Those were his words, okay? Listen very closely to him when I play the video. But then, the same man today is angry that capital is about to be removed from Asaba, because Asaba is insisting that they are not part of the Southeast. Southeast is a political identity. The real identity is Igbo land. Before we had European contact in the first place, before any white man touched his toes in this land area called Enuani or Igbo land, before any single white man touched their feet on Igbo soil, we were referred as different tribes, but we were all Igbo. I've also had to educate people who thought it was the white man who gave us the name Igbo. No. No white man gave us the name Igbo. Kindly double tap on this video, please. If you are a lover of history, culture, if you are a person who wants this channel to also grow, if you are not a subscriber, kindly go now, click on it and subscribe. Then double tap this video to give it a thumbs up. Please, I'm appealing to you. That's the biggest support right now that you can give to us. If you also move to give us super thanks, you can do so. Some people do so once in a while. But please, the one you can do now is, please, double tap on this video you're watching to give it a thumbs up so that it can come up on the algorithm. That way more people can join to watch. If you are not yet a subscriber, also hit the subscribe button immediately. This is how you promote and support such channel. So back to our discussion. So a few people started saying they are not Igbo. They don't want anything to do with Ndi Igbo. And being Igbos that we are, rejection, denial is not a new thing to us. We have seen that almost all our lives. Thank you so much, Izuchukwu. How to subscribe is that you click on the name of the channel. You will see the channel, click on it, you will see where it will say subscribe. Just subscribe. Just give me a few seconds, I'm coming. So, like as I was saying, you can support this channel by subscribing, sharing our video, double tapping on the video you're watching to give it thumbs up. So, Professor Anthony Idigbe, the Akuluon of Asaba, in Lagos 3 days ago, before his king, the Asaba of Asaba, stated that every Asaba man is considerably Igbo. And I applaud him, and I'm using this video to applaud him for his courage. I have searched for this video. And once I get my hands on it, I will share it with us. Because he made that statement before his king. When a community is founded, if it is an Igbo community, the name will tell you it is Igbo community. We are not dragging anything. Because some people would like to say, Ndi Igbo and the expansionist agenda, they want to expand into the South-South. Where is South-South? There's no place called South-South. We are just tribes of Igbo land. Different tribes, but we are all Igbo. Those tribes where you have your Owerri people, Okigwe people, Nsoka people, Ngwa people, Enuani people, Ika people, Okwani people. These were our different tribal identities. Before we came under the full name Igbo, as the white man chose to refer us, did not give us the name. No white man gave us the name Igbo. In my hometown particularly, I am from Ubuluku. We have communities that bear the name Igbo attached to it. We have Obi Igbo, a quarter of Igbo people. Now, interestingly, these people are from Onri. They are metal workers. They are called Ndi Obe Igbo, a quarter of Igbo people. More, we have Akuku Igbo. The same way we have Akuku Igbo here in Anioma, we have Akuku Igbo in the eastern Niger as well. Those are Igbo communities with Igbo as a name. We have Igbo Uku. These are ancient names, not new names. And they have the name Igbo attached to it. In Rivers State, we have Oyibo, which some people now call Obibo. But the king of the community, I like the way he writes the name, the urban community of Oyibo. Oyibo. There are things you cannot change. Now, this is not to mention the different quarters that have Igbo attached to it. It was not a white man that gave us the name Igbo. Whether it is spelled IGBO, IBO, HEEBO, they all mean the same thing. EBO, they all mean the same thing, Igbo. So when a community is founded and named, if it is an Igbo community, you will know by its name. I am from Obolo. And every Igbo man knows what Obolo is. Not Oboro nke dị n'isi o, osisi. Osisi wo wakpo Obolo. Obolo ukwu, big Obolo tree. Everybody knows it. Some call it obolo inu. It is the same tree. Mkpụrụ adịdị ka ụbụlụ amadu, ka ụbụlụ azụ, ka ụbụlụ anụmanụ, mana ọsụsọ ya bụ ụbụlụ, oyi ụbụlụ kembu. Interestingly, in Eboland, when you see a name, the name replicates. There is Asaba somewhere else in Eboland, in the eastern Eboland. There is Obolo every part of Eboland. There is a Wash in some parts of Anambra. There is Abo somewhere in Abia State. There's a place called Omuabo. Ibobofu. So, not everyone in Anioma has identity crisis. That is the aim of this video. Because certainly, people like Professor Idibe has shown that he has no trace of identity crisis. Because where it mattered most for him to declare his Igbo identity, he did. Without fear of equivocation. So when some people start playing chameleon, I want to be Igbo, but I don't want to be part of South, what are you dodging? What are you dodging? Nobody is trying to annex Anioma. Anioma is already in its own an Igbo land. And if you say the name Anioma, no, it's just an acronym. Okay, we can pick the communities one after the other and tell you how they are Igbo. Every community, not one, not two. Only few lineages that you will say these ones are not from here. And the stranger cannot come to tell us who we are. You cannot come into our midst and redefine us. No, you come into our midst and you take up our identity and become one of us because you were assimilated. Oh. These people crying today that I bụ ndị Igbo, I chọrọ ime of na with ndị Igbo. Nadi mboye gala, Nadi mboye bini. No problem. When Nadi came, what our ancestors first did was to assimilate them. They were assimilated. They were brought before Enuani, before our Ogirisi tree, that is the Ebo tree, and sworn to an oath. So I usually challenge these people who are misguided by saying, Imani abu no Igbo. There's only one simple test. Oyubuluku Kembo. I had a ready. Can you comfortably eat Eddie so that we'll get the meat for you to eat? Since you are not Igbo, you are not one of us now. It's as simple as that. You just try yourself by eating the meat that our community forbids. Let's see how you will fare. They will not dare. I think for me, that is the biggest test of identity. Because what our ancestors did then was very simple. Anytime they welcome a new person, they don't joke around with it. Oh. Let me break down the process of assimilation for us so that we understand what we are talking about. Let me assume a man's name is Okala. Okala is an Igbo name. So let me find a Yoruba name. Let me find a Yoruba Benin name. Let me say a man's name is Omorodion. Omorodion comes to Ubuluku and wants to become an Ubuluku person. He will live in a certain lineage in Ubuluku for like 10 seasons. That is 10 years. He will first of all become a part of a family in that lineage. That family will assimilate him. He will become a member of the family. Now it is the family that will go to the lineage to report that Omorodion, who has lived with us now for like 10 seasons, wishes to become one of us. He will come with goat and all other requirements that they list, but that goat is very important. They will ask him, are you sure about his character? He will vouch for Omorodion. Now him and Omorodion and the rest of Omorodion's family will appear before Enuani, which is our holy ground. The first point of call when you enter our community in terms of spirituality. Now they go to Enuani, kill that goat, make some sacrifices, cook this goat and eat, making between themselves an oath. Omorodion swears to uphold the culture and traditions of our people. Omorodion now takes upon himself the identity of that family he has become one with. If he likes, he can retain the name Omorodion. He can also choose to change to an Igbo name. Okay? Now, he is now one of us. If our totem is that we forbid guinea fowl, he will not eat guinea fowl anymore. If our totem is that we do not eat yam until new yam festival has happened, he will no longer do it. He becomes now one of us. Now think of this. After this, 400 years later or 300 years later, one fool from the lineage of Omorodion comes to say, our father is from Benin, he is not an Igbo man. Of course, your father is from Benin, but we have assimilated him. He accepted. He became one of us. He's now meant to forbid what we forbid and eat what we eat. But you, the son, think you are wiser than your father by coming out publicly to announce that he's a slave. He is not a true blood. It simply tells the story of the slave who begged his fellow slaves and the master's children and family as they were going to a distant community to say, please, when we get to where we are going to, please let nobody let them know that he is a slave. And everybody accepted. After all, they were going to a distant community. So they prepared on the journey and left. On their way to that kingdom, a heavy storm came upon them and it rained. Everybody was drenched. When they arrived, people were changing their clothing and drying them on the sun. This slave, because of the urgency that slaves usually have of having their clothes dried early, removed his own cloth, went to the fireplace and kept it to dry by smoke. So the owner of the house came and said, who is drying this cloth like a slave? This is the pure behavior of a slave. That slave has by himself revealed to the owners of the house and the hosts that himself is not the same with the others. That is the same thing in the story I just described about the children of a certain man called Omorodion. If your ancestors were assimilated into our midst, I like the Yorubas in our midst. I hope you know that there are Yorubas in our midst. Yes, the same way you hear loudly the few people who do not understand a single word in Benin claiming that they are from Benin, that almost half of it is Eboland. So these people from Yoruba land, till today, they still speak a version of Yoruba. They are from Owo. They speak a version of Yoruba. But I've never seen any of them on television saying he's not Igbo. Never have I seen one person from, we call them Olukumi people. Olukumi means my friend. That's what they usually told people that they met then when they came, because our language was not the same. Olukumi. And then our people started calling them Ndi Olukumi or Ndi Okwonzo, because the land area where they inhabited has native chalk. So their leg will usually be white. So they started calling them Ndi Okwonzo or Ndi Olukumi. They still speak a version of Yoruba. I've never heard them saying they are not Igbo, because they were welcomed, assimilated, given a place to settle, and they started living there. I've never seen them on TV one day saying, don't join us to the southeast, we are not Igbos. But the ones whose names are Igbo, in this place, interestingly, you have people like Adebowale Ochei, Adeyemi Chinedu. They bear Igbo Yoruba name. They have accepted their Igbo identity as brought upon them by their ancestors. But you see these few people who are from Benin, whose names are fully Igbo. You will see Nwachukwu saying he's not an Igbo man, he's from Benin. You will see Ifeanyi Chukwu, you see Ebere Chukwu, you will see some of them will tell you that they don't have Chukwu in their name. I just laugh. That what they have is Ehi. We will call it Ehi Ashe. And it's different from Chi. Because we can say Chi na Ashe Kiagwa. That means you're talking to your guardian angel, which is your Chi, and your Ashe, which is your soul. Ashe is your soul, not your Chi. Chi na Ashe. We say One Chi na Ashe Kiagwa. That's which your guardian angel and your soul are you talking to? Like you're saying your spirit and soul. Chi na Ashe. That is what we call it. The Abo people, that is the Ika people, call it Chi Nehi. Then you later see them saying because there's no Chi, they don't have Chi, because it means they are not Igbo. So when I say Chiedu, there's a difference between Chiedu and Ashiedu. These are two names we give in Igbo land. Chiedu, Ashiedu. Abo people, that's the Eka people will say Chiedu or Ehiedu. We can say Ashibogo. Ashibogo. Like some will say Chibogo. Ashibogo. Ashimedwa. Ashiedu. Ashinze. Igbo man from the southeast will say Arenze. Now tell me, you that is watching this video, what is the difference between us in all these things that I said? While I name my child Ashinze, you name your child Arenze. They mean the same thing. These two names that I said now mean the same thing. While I say Chiedu, you say Chinedu. I say Chukwuemeka, you say Chukwuemeka. These are slight dialectical differences. Doesn't separate us at all. But you see people who lack knowledge of their identity trying to make a meal of this. Please, if you're just seeing this live broadcast, or this is your first time of coming across our channel, my name is Onwode Ngozi Chukwuka Fortune. I am from Ubuluku in Anyocha South local government area of Delta State. And I'm inviting you to please like our channel, comment on our videos, subscribe if you are not yet a subscriber, give us super thanks to support us, and this video you are watching, double tap it to give it a thumbs up. So we continue. Who is an Igbo man? An Igbo man is that man who practices Igbo culture. Whether you are born in Igbo land or not, as long as your blood has Igbo in it, you are Igbo. There are people in faraway Caribbeans, the Jamaicans, the Haitis, and all other countries in the Americas, in the Caribbean islands, who are Igbo. Prominent among them are musicians, well-known people all over the world who have come out to say, I am Igbo. Not because of stories that their grandfathers or grandmothers told them, but because they have done what is called ancestry DNA test and come out with the result showing they are Igbos. They are Ndi Igbo. They are Igbo people. One of my very enlightened friends, who is a linguistic expert, told me not to be saying Igbos anymore. So I don't use the word Igbos. We learn every day. We say Ndi Igbo or the Igbo people, not Igbos. And I like it that way. So I'm trying to explain that not everyone has identity crisis. To be Igbo, you have to have Igbo in your DNA. That is the first one. Birth, citizenship by birth, or citizenship by indigenization, like the one I described, which is called assimilation. That a group of people came to us from Igala. Okay, there's a name in my lineage, not even my hometown. The only two places you hear that name again is either in Kogi State or in East Africa. And it is a surname that everyone knows. If I mention the name now, all of you will know it. That simply tells us that these people are not from us. They are migrants. And I've confronted the family and they said, yes, their great-grandfathers told them that they are from Kogi State. Nothing is hidden there. Today, somebody from there, I don't want to give up so much information. Okay, today somebody from there is leading our lineage. Let me keep it that way. So these people cannot come out to start telling, yeah, I'm not Igbo anymore, you know. My great-grandfathers came, they now welcomed them, they now hugged. After hugging, who are you explaining to? You are now Igbo. You can't change it because your ancestors were assimilated. Now, let me give you an instance so that you don't start assuming that everybody was assimilated. There are people in my lineage. I can marry their children. They can marry mine. Why? They have been in my lineage before I was born. They have been living there. But our fathers know, and they told us that these ones are not your brothers. They are not your sisters. You are not related to them because they are not assimilated to us. They are not one with us. They are just dwellers. So you can dwell in a community for 200 years and you are not one of them. And we have such people. But I'm telling you about the people who were assimilated, not the few who were not assimilated. If you were not assimilated, you can pick your bag and go back to where you came from, because we have been told you came to dwell with us. So nobody is forcing anybody to be Igbo. Like some people will say, leave them alone. No, it's not by force to be Igbo. Nobody is forcing anybody. We are saying you can't come to my house, eat my food, drink my water, and tell me what name to bear. No. I can mention 10 names of my ancestors backwards. They are all Igbo names. You won't find one Yoruba or Hausa or Benin name in it. All Igbo names. I can go backwards like 10 names. I can go 20 names backwards. That's how thorough I am. For myself. For myself, particularly. I don't know about anybody else. My ancestors were Igbos. I'm not just from any family. I'm a prince from a royal bloodline. I'm from a royal bloodline. So I know my lineage. I know my ancestry, and it is Igbo. Now, the bloodline I'm talking about is not kingship by election, that you have to vote a king in and out. Our kings are not voted. The day a king is born, you know that this one is a king. The day the king is born, you know that this one is a king. They do effimacy for that king. Even separate that king from the community and give him a dukedom where he will live in, because you can't have two kings in a kingdom. That's the kind of lineage that I am from. Pure primogeniture community, and I am from the first ruling house of Ubuluku Kingdom, the descendants of Ezemu. My father Ezemu has 4 siblings, all bearing Igbo names. Then somebody will come 800 years later and start telling us we are not Igbos because there's a Benin influence. Maybe you now use Ada and Epen. Therefore, they are no longer Igbo. Nothing supersedes Ofo, because we are looking at things that make you Igbo. And I have said the first thing that make you Igbo is that you were born Igbo, or that you were assimilated into the Igbo community. So the second thing that makes you Igbo is, what are you led by? Every lineage in my community is led by Ofo. Every lineage in the whole of Enuani and Anioma is led by Ofo. Interestingly, in my research recently, I found a lineage that is not led by Ofo. Oh, God, help me. It's good to do research. Oh. I've enjoyed my journey as a historian, and I will continue to do so. Every day I learn new things. What is interesting or what is good in history is this. The people who taught me some of the things that I know are dead. It will be a great disservice to them, and their spirit will judge me wrongly if I present to you what they did not tell me. What I was told is what I'm telling you. Now, this is what I was told recently, because I have always been of the opinion that every community in Enuani, in Okwane, in Eka is led by Ofo, but that is not true. I found a lineage from Benin who settled in my community. They said they came to my community to do etozo, that is craft, woodcraft. Etozo. Woodcraft is called etozo. Molding is called epozo or ifyeozo. Ifyeozo is mainly describing metal work. So you see how the three of them have to do with ozo, artwork. I don't want to delve into names that came from that, like Ozume Fune means like I have replicated myself. Ozum Efune. My artwork, my face, my looks did not go missing. It is now back. I have given birth to somebody that looks like me. That is Ozume Efune. But let me continue. This lineage told me that they don't use Ofo as their symbol of authority and leadership or justice. That what they use is different. And I was thrilled to know what they use. And I said, please, Can you tell me the name of what you use? And they said, yes. They use Nkanozo. And I busted into serious laughter. Our ancestors were very wise. I know you know what Nkanozo is. How did Nkanozo get to Benin and came back again to Eboland? Everybody knows what Nkanozo is. If you don't know, you can just please ask. What is Nkanozo? Nkanozo is what the people of Eboland who make metal works and woodwork use. It is like the deity of craft, Nkanozo. So because they are into craftsmanship, their own symbol of authority is that Nkanozo, not Ofo. So I was usually thinking everybody use Ofo. I don't know that there are people who use Nkanozo. And these people are from Benin. Okay, so I have explained it now. Nkanozo is like a short piece of metal. The same way you have Ofo. Lineages have Ofo. Some lineages have Nkanozo. It is Nka means craft. Ozo is to mold. Nkanozo is that piece of metal that serves as a deity for all Ndi Ọrụ Aka. Every Ndi Ọrụ Aka have Nkanozo that they make use of. In fact, it's like their deity. Some go to worship it and pour some things on it. The same way they have Ofo in lineages. People na Arụ Ọrụ Aka use Nkanozo. If somebody knows what Nkanozo is, you can explain it here in the comment section for somebody who doesn't know to also learn. For me to also learn from you. That is what Nkanozo is. And that is what this lineage makes use of. And then you will see somebody from there. I've not seen somebody from there anyway saying they are not Igbo, but they are from Benin. We know they are from Benin. Because we have a name for every lineage that is from Benin. We call them Ndiani Idu or Umu Idu. Idu is what we call Benin. We don't call it Benin. No. We call it Idu, Ani Idu. So all the people that migrated to my community from Anidu to Enuani, to Ukwani, everywhere, once you are from Anidu, we send there Anidu. They have one name. And each of them have when they came and why they came. Some came to fight battle against us, lost the battle and were assimilated. Some came to do craft. So each of them have different reasons. Some accompanied Adesuwa, a princess from Benin Kingdom, daughter of Ezomon Uzebu to Enuani, to marry King Olise, Obi Olise of Ubuluku Kingdom. That marriage is ill-fated. Adesuwa was tied by her husband and it led to war between Obolo and Benin. They fought us like Igbos. When Benin attacked us, they attacked us like they were fighting Igbo people. And that is how we have been referred from ages till now. We are referred as Igbo people. How suddenly people started realizing, our great-grandfather told us he came from Benin to this place. Come and do artwork. You now realize you are not Igbo anymore. Maybe I have somebody who just explained Nkanozo. Nkanozo are the conspicuous gods of art. Thank you so much. Gods of art. Okay. So, Nkanozo is science and technology. Thank you so much. I think this one captures it more. So, imagine that Igbo people as at 500, 600 years ago had something that they say this is the god of science and technology. Because these people that are using it in my community, if they mold something for you, you will believe it. So they said they went to work for Oba of Benin. They were the ones making artworks there. They now also came, a group among them came to work for the king of my community. History is something to be studied. Somebody has come to the comment section here one day to say we are wasting our time learning history, and I laughed. If he knows what I have gained by knowing history, not material things, because there's nothing, no money in it. No money coming in it, but the knowledge that comes with it is very fulfilling because it's my life's expectation. I just want to be happy knowing about myself and then telling others about themselves too, where they wish to know. So the elder that was describing the king that brought them to my kingdom told me that that king resettled them when Benin people attacked Obuluku. He resettled them to a certain place to live in. Guess what? the children of that king still live in that same place, showing that what the man is narrating is very true. Saying Agwo, so pretense and can also. Thank you so much. Agwo. So is Agwo not the one that describes reincarnation? Like for me now, Agum is the person who lived before me. If I come back again and start behaving like that person, they will say, that is how it is in my community. Please describe more, Izuchukwu. What is Agwo in your own community? In my own community, when I say I am referring to the man that lived before me, whose life I have come to continue, because we believe in reincarnation. Okay, that is Agwo. So Nkanozu, like that person said, the god of science and technology, the god of art and metal work, the god of this, as long as it relates to creativity, that is what we call Nkanozu. And then there are people who use that Nkanozu as their lineage deity, as their Ofo. That's what I described. And those people are known for metal work. They came from Eboland to Benin to work for the Oba, came back to Eboland again. In fact, they said their work is as a professionals who do different kinds of crafts. They produce, in my community, when a king dies, they are the ones who produce the casket. They will make sure it is artistically designed, because only king that will bury with casket. Back then, no, not now that everybody is now buried with casket. Before, not everybody is buried with a casket. And the casket they use in burying a king in my place must be of Iroko tree, Oji. Okay, so let me read. History is power and foundation of any tribe. Every country must hold history at high esteem. My brother, I love listening to your teachings. Thank you so much, Dorothy. So, history is so good that if you know history, it will save you a lot. There are some, history always repeats itself. So there are things that if you know history and you avoid them, you will be watching. The thing will now repeat itself. You will laugh. You will say, this has saved me money because I already know that this is how this thing usually does. It's like the antecedents of a few people from Anioma. I know by now, an Igbo person, no matter where you are, now know that the antecedents of a few people from Anioma is to play chameleon. So you say, I am not Igbo. Tomorrow you say I'm Igbo. Next tomorrow you say I'm not Igbo. If you do that kind of rubbish with me, I will place you where you belong. Outrightly. Don't come and tell me today you are Igbo, tomorrow you are not Igbo, next tomorrow you are Igbo, next tomorrow you are not Igbo. Pick one and stand by it strongly. There's no argument I've not heard, especially from people who are older than me, because the error that people make is to think that because they are old, they know history more than you. That is not true. You are a product of how much research you have done. I have done so much research. In fact, there was a time my family would think it'd be like, say, this one no one become anything for in life, because I was usually seen with elders playing draft. I played draft very much, playing draft, drinking palm wine in palm wine joints, discussing with elders, anything that can make me learn. I was jotting down, writing books. They would tell me, don't go to that man's house, he's a wizard. Don't go to that woman, she's a witch. But this witch is the person they said is knowledgeable, that knows everything. You will see me in that witch's house. The next day, if I want to die, let me die. But here am I. Most of those witches have died. The people they claimed are witches. So, knowledge is very important, but historical knowledge is extremely important. If you know the history of a people, you will know what to expect from them. You will also know what to avoid. If you are a government, you will know what kind of development to bring to them. There are people whose life's work is craft. This Nkanozo that we talked about, there are people who their area of specialty is craft. Build something that can make them create something. You see the genius in their bloodline to come out. There are people whose lineage is known for talk. We call them Omwadibioku. Imagine that somebody is called Dibiaoku. A Dibia is somebody that has great knowledge in something. We have Dibia Miri, a person that has great knowledge in making water. That is rainmakers. We have Dibiochi, that is Diochi, the ones that know how to tap palm tree. We have Dibia Pologo, the ones that know how to make herbal medicine. We have Dibioku, the master of conversation dialogue. Is like a lawyer. These are Igbo words. Dibia Oku. Dibia Pologo. Some will say Mporogo, depending on your dialect of Igbo language. Some people, because of this difference in dialect, they say I'm not Igbo. They say Mporogo. Me, I say Mpologo. It's not the same. Well, I want to thank everyone who has watched this live video. We have already stayed here more than we expected. This person said, I can never deny my identity. I am Igbo. Thank you so much, Carolina Rodriguez. Oh, Carolina Rodriguez, I remember you, and it's nice to see you online. Thank you so much. Please, I've also seen a comment I wish to read from Omenka. He who has innate ability to create. Okay, a title in my... Yes. We have Ndi Omenka in my own community as well. Enugu Agede in Anambra. We have Ndi Omenka. Igbo Bofu. Let me leave us with this song. If you have not liked this video, kindly double tap it to like the video. You can also share it to your audience, okay? If you are not yet a subscriber, one of the things you can do for us to support us is to subscribe to the channel. Double tap on this video to like it. I am singing the song of our brother from Okwani, Boy Ogu. And then after the song, I'll end the live stream. It was such an interesting journey with you. Over 1 hour, 6 minutes journey. So I sing the song of Boy Ogu before I end. Please double tap on this video to give it a thumbs up. And I will see you in my next video. Ụmụ Igbo niile ndị na-asụ bịa, ndị na-asụ nnọọ n'ụwa niile na-ataba anụ ka idozie n'Igbo. Igbo bofu, Igbo amaka o, Igbo dị ụsọ ka idozie n'Igbo. Ụmụ Igbo ni Delta, Igbo amaka. Ụmụ Igbo ni Cross Rivers, Igbo amaka. Ụmụ Igbo ni Bayelsa, Igbo amaka. Ụmụ Igbo ni Kogi State, Igbo amaka o, Igbo dị ụsọ ka idozie n'Igbo. Ụmụ Igbo ni Benue State, Igbo amaka. Ụmụ Igbo ni Edo State, Igbo amaka. Ụmụ Igbo na Akwa Ibom, Igbo amaka o, Igbo dị ụsọ ka idozie n'Igbo. You see how I carefully focused on the Igbos that consider themselves not Igbo. The Igbos in outside the Southeast. Because that word, that geographical creation, that political identity called Southeast makes people think, if I'm not from the Southeast, I am not Igbo. So that when you ask somebody, are you Igbo? They will say, no, I'm not from the Southeast. Southeast is a political identity. Igbo is a cultural identity. So today I want you to know that there's a great difference between cultural identity and political identity. What is your cultural identity? Go to the comment section, type it, subscribe to this channel, comment on our videos, look through the channel, you find many other interesting videos to watch. I will see you in my next video. Thank you for supporting us. Bye-bye.